many places can you go get money to prove the concept of your technology works without having to pay back a loan or give up equity? In the Small Business Innovation Research Program will give you a small amount of money with no strings attached. So the government doesn't take any equity, it doesn't keep any intellectual property rights. It simply wants you to do good research. There's 11 agencies all running their own SBIR program. It is hard to be competitive in this program, and what I'm hoping you work on today and you really think about deeply is, how do I create a proposal that will get funded by being very innovative, by partnering with the right kinds of people, and by understanding what the agency wants out of this. What they're looking for is you to be a success story. So they're looking for companies that have really unique ideas, really know the path to commercialization, and have put together really good teams. They really don't want to fund guys in the garage, okay? Because the odds are you're not going to be competitive compared to those other proposals they're getting in. Here's how you get successful in this program. You write a generic proposal, and then you modify it each time you see a topic that you're interested in and an agency that you're interested in. If you've got to write an entirely new proposal each time you see a topic come out, you'll never be able to send off enough of them that the odds will work in your favor. Don't expect to be funded until about your 4th one. If you're just doing this randomly, I know companies who've called me and said, all right, we're at our 10th one and we still haven't won. What are we doing wrong? Usually it's simple things that you as a small business owner wouldn't think would be an issue because you're not looking at it from their perspective. There are 2 types of funding mechanisms. One is contracts and one is grants. If you are being funded by an agency that has a broader perspective, they will typically use a grant mechanism. They're funding good research. Department of Defense uses this program as basically a procurement program. They want a deliverable. They want something at the end, not just good a research report, but they want you to deliver something to them, to manufacture, and so they will use a contract. So how do you find out what they're interested in? Go on to the agency's website. Look for their strategic plan. Look for their roadmap. Look for these reports that say, what we've identified we need to do is big data analytics, medical technologies. Look at what their reports are saying. And in your proposal, cite those reports, because the odds are whoever wrote that big report is on the evaluation committee. The most important section, the heart of the proposal, is the aims and the work plan. Here's our innovative idea. Here's how we know you're going to use it. We're the right firm for you, and here's how we're going to do it. So you start getting into the details here, okay? And it's usually in the middle of the proposal. Front load your proposal. What is your company? How long have you been in business? What's your position in the industry? I already know that because I know my business, right? And then you keep working backwards until you've finished answering all the questions. And then remember I said to you, the first 2 pages are critical because they may not read past that. Then I take the editor, whether it's myself or in your case, your team, right? And you have one person who starts to look through the proposal just before you're finished. And I go through and I look at that proposal and I highlight the most important sentences and I rewrite my first 2 pages. It's like anything else. You've got to catch the reader at the very beginning that makes them want to read more. You're going to have a budget form, a government budget form. You don't have to fill out every line. Most SBIR projects are 80% man hours. Phase 1 is very short period of time, very small dollar amount, very research intensive. You're not buying materials, you're not buying equipment. So there's 3 cost categories: direct labor, second, direct materials, and third, your external partners, the subcontractors and consultants. Never in my entire career seen anybody map out a budget the way I just did for you. This is a very simple, straightforward project. That's what the government wants. They're evaluating you in phase 1 to see if you're qualified to move to phase 2. They're testing the technology, but they're also testing your company. If you don't know how to fill out the forms, if you don't know how to fill out the report, if you don't deliver anything, They don't want you. Before you do anything, if you are not registered in the government's database as a contractor, go and get registered in the database, okay? If you start working on your proposal and you forget about that, it won't get approved in time for you to submit. When it accepts your package, it will give you a tracking number. You need to hang on to it because everything is based on that tracking number. Even if you're not successful with your first proposal, you've made contacts with Portec, you've made contacts in AMP SoCal that can lead to other things. I've been where you are, okay? Keep trying, keep pushing it.